What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're going to talk about the Phoenix Suns making it back to the NBA Finals by finally killing off the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers got off to a better start. They was able to hang around, and Chris Paul came out of nowhere and stepped on their neck and slit their throat. Like I said, that's what they're gonna have to do. This Clipper team doesn't quit. This Clipper team is a fighter. They're physical. They're tough. And they can make tough shots and make big plays on both ends of the court, which we've seen throughout this series. But like I said, I think this series going six, and they ended up ending in six. And Phoenix was able to do it in LA. They couldn't close it in five, but they did close it in six. And Chris Paul is a closer. He may never been to the finals, but that's something you can never say again, as he is 4 games away from possibly being the champion. And this Suns team has been amazing to watch. They've been fun and they've been exciting, and they have really took care of business for the most part. And they're healthier than basically any team left now. Now that Chris Paul is out of his protocols and his shoulder is back to where it needs to be, if he comes out and plays like this and Devin Booker continues to produce, this is going to be a tough team to defeat, and that's why they have never won 7 games this entire playoff run, because Booker and Chris Paul step up and have killer instinct games, and that's the Mamba mentality. That's a guy that they all love and respect, and they got it done. Instead of going 7, they were finishing in 6, and this game was interesting for the most part. It looked like a game that the Clippers could win. They just ran out of gas. They couldn't get enough stops. They couldn't make enough shots. They couldn't make enough plays. And Phoenix just kept coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. And the Clippers just had no answer defensively or offensively. And that's why they just couldn't stop the bleeding. They struggled to score within this series, and a lot of it has to do with Paul George not stepping up and having another dominant game. He had a decent game, but not the superstar, all-star caliber game that he needed to really combat the Phoenix Suns. And I told you, they're going to need multiple guys to step up, and they're going to need Paul George to rebound high, assist high, and also score. It seemed like he was never able to get in the rhythm. It seemed like he was never able to get his shot going, and he just kind of faded and disappeared in his game. And you just can't have that happen. He had to be ready. He had to be hungry, and he has never made it to the final himself. And this was a great opportunity for him to do so. Unfortunately, he won't be able to get there this year. And now all eyes is on Kawhi Leonard to see is he's going to stay or is he going to go. And if anything, I think he should be impressed by them, for them to beat the number 1 Jazz and for them to make it a competitive series against the number 2 seed Phoenix Suns without him. That just lets you know how great this Clipper team is and how good they are. So they was auditioning to let them know you have enough here to win the title. We 2 games away from being in the finals, and we didn't even have you for the last 6 or 7, and we still was able to compete. Even in this Phoenix series, 3 of those games was decided closely, and they was in those games, and they also had opportunities to win them. So the Clippers could very easily be in this series and possibly even won it if they took care of those games, which they ended up losing. Regardless of how they lost it, they didn't get the W, and now they're at home watching the finals away, because they won't be a part of it. But I'm proud of this Suns team. Mikal Bridges never really had a great game in this series, but he played excellent defense and he scored when they needed him. Cameron was not what he was in the first game, the second game, but he still was able to add them a little speed and a little boost and another threat. DeAndre Ayton didn't really have a dominating offensive game, but he was solid. He still got a lot of boards. He still controlled the paint on both ends of the court, and he still was able to score enough points to where you had to pay attention to him, and you still had to react to where he was on the court unless he was going to get more easier shots. But they still used him to the best of their advantage in this game without giving him ISOs all the time. And Devin Booker didn't have that monstrous game, but they was winning majority of the game, and they just had to put the Clippers away because we know that they can make a run. And every time the Clippers try to make a couple shots or try to make a couple threes, the Suns will answer, and the Suns will continue to put more pressure on them, continue to dump a pile of dirt on them as they were digging their burial ground, so they can put them in a casket and close it, and then dump dirt on them. They was able to do it. They just was a little bit too much. They just had too much firepower. They were just clicking. And this is the type of Suns that you need, all in, locked in, focused team that knows what the mission is, knows what the objective is, and not letting the Clippers get in their head. The Clippers did a lot of trash talking. The Clippers really came at them, and when you have guys like Paul George and Beverly and Cousins, that will happen. But they really got locked in on just winning the game, and that's all that matters because that's all you have to do. You don't have to get all caught up in the politics. You don't have to get caught up in the verbal talk. You just have to go out there and handle your business. And I feel like the Suns, that was a number one priority. I didn't feel like that the entire series. I feel like they were trying to show something. I feel like they were trying to prove something, and it was going into the Clippers' favor. But this game, they was on a mission, and I seen that from the jump. They got off to a significantly better start. They was able to be consistent throughout this whole entire game, and that might be the most impressive thing. And then Chris Paul just closed it. We seen him do it against Denver. We seen him do it in other series throughout his career, but this is the biggest one because now he has a chance to win his first championship, and now he has finally made it to the finals. Everybody says so many point guards have made it to the finals. Chris Paul hasn't even done that. Now you can't say that anymore because he's there, and they have a huge chance to win it all this year. And now they just have to go out there and play like this and play how they have played throughout the entire playoffs and play like they have played throughout the whole regular season, which was success on both ends of the court. And buying into a team concept, they have a lot of weapons on this team. Even Jay Crowder was able to make a lot of big plays and some threes to keep the Clippers off of them from trying to come back and grab their leg. They had to stump on their arm and just blow their head off, and that's what you have to do. And they got it done. But when I look at this series, it wasn't the greatest, it wasn't the best, it wasn't the most fun to watch. But I do feel like the right team won, and I do feel like the Suns are as good as you think. They're not a make believe team. They're not a lucky team, even though they did have some big injuries go their way. They're a great team. They really are great, and the fact that they're so young and so hungry and so thirsty, I think made them a fun watch just because they're proving stuff to people. They're showing out when it's time, and they're also getting it done on the defensive end. They have a lot of long, lanky, mobile defenders. They have a huge center that's mobile and athletic and can cover a lot of ground and very physical. And they can torch you from everywhere on the court. And it's going to be interesting to see who comes out of the Bucks Atlanta series, just because these teams may not be better than the Suns team. The Suns team is probably the best team left, in my personal opinion. I picked them to win every series that they was in, even against the Lakers. And even though I didn't see Anthony Davis go down, that's how impressed I was with the Suns team all year. And they continue to show that even in this series, that is just another level that this team can hit. And once they're clicking, once they're playing the right brand of basketball and got their mind focused on winning and completing the game, they can be a tough team to beat, and they can be a tough team to handle. And they have all the pieces that you need. They have all the things that you need, whether it's inside, outside, mid range, free throw shooting, clutch, gene. They have all that built into this team, and it's good to see it all work and play out the way that it should on the basketball court. And it's a beautiful team to watch, and it's a beautiful game that they play. And for them to have really no playoff experience with almost half their roster, you wouldn't be able to tell, because now they're in the NBA Finals, and now they can celebrate and have fun and wait to see who their opponent going to be, and get right back to preparing, get right back to being ready for game one, and try to win a game one like you did all series. I mean, every series so far. and try to take a 1-0 lead. They will have home court advantage over the Bucks, so that's important that if it does go to a game 7, it will be in Phoenix, and they will start the first 2 games off in Phoenix. And now they actually are legit. And this is something that we wondered, something that we thought, and now we know that this team is real. Now that we know this team is dangerous. Now that we know that this team is going to be tough to beat, and they haven't been beaten yet. And I think they can possibly continue that going into the next series in the finals and probably bring home, I believe, the first championship that Phoenix has ever gotten. They're close to that. They're 4 games away from that. And now we can see if they really want it and can they grasp it and just take it and, become champions. That's the last puzzle that they have to complete and figure out. And once they get the right pieces and once they get going, they just have to finish it. And then they have a beautiful picture called NBA Championship, NBA Champions. And it's a beautiful thing to see. It's a beautiful thing to say. Now we're going to see if they can get it solved and get it done. Other than that, let me know what you guys think about the Suns winning this series. Do you think they can win the championship? Do you think they overrated, underrated, dangerous? And do you think that they're better than the Hawks? Do you think they're better than the Bucks, especially with Giannis going down? Should they be the favorite going into next series? Or are they just another good team and they just took advantage of their opportunities and got this far by doing their job? Whatever you feel, let me know in the comment section below. Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis, signing out.